Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I'm Jamie. We've got Lynn here, and I'm going to introduce her in a second. But I just want to let y'all know that you can press the chat, scroll to the bottom of your screen and click the chat button, and it will open a chat on the right-hand side of your screen that you can start typing into us. So come say hello in the chat box and let us know if you are here. We might wait a couple minutes to really dive in. But yeah, just hit that chat box, say hello. Let us know if it's your first time here or if you've been to other green room calls. First time from Jeff Blake. Welcome, Jeff. Oops. Hey, Dervla. She's not a first timer. First time too, Sarah. Welcome, Sarah. Welcome, Derv. Thanks for being here today, guys. I know everyone's got a busy life, so we'll try and pack as much value into this as we can. First timer, Desmond. Street jokes. I want to hear some jokes in the chat. Hi, he says. Cool, thanks, guys. So what we also want to know is who we're talking to in the industry. So if you can write in if you are an artist or a manager or primarily one or the other or both, and where you're from so we can get a good idea. We're going to keep it vague. I mean, digital streaming playlist isn't all about local, but it'll be good for us to know kind of where you're from and if you're primarily an artist or representing an artist from Toronto, artist, manager from Ottawa. Cool. So we've got Canada up in the house.
Lots of
manager
Canada.
In Toronto. Artist and manager from the East Coast. Manager from Washington, D.C.
Very cool.
Sweet. Do we have any UK people up in here? Artist developer from Toronto. Welcome, guys.
A lot of familiar names popping up here. I like it.
Yeah. Icon Island did a good job at bringing some people into this call today. Perfect. So either way, if you're not sure yet, this call is being recorded and then it's put up in the green room so you can watch it at any time in the future. And it's usually up by, when we do the calls on Friday, they're usually up by Tuesday or Wednesday. And you can head in there anytime. We got Keith, manager from San Diego. Hello. I'm jealous of you guys in the States right now because it is cold and sucky here. Sandwich artist. Oh my God. I've got an inside story about sandwich artists. Okay, so you can keep typing in there. I'll be watching. Make sure you guys take notes because Lynn's got some awesome information for you today, and she's pretty much prepared a little course for you, which is amazing. Okay, so Lynn is an artist, developer, label services person from Icon Island, based out of Toronto. And in the last year, she's had some really, really good success with getting her artist songs onto streaming playlists. So we thought she was the perfect person to bring on and talk to you guys a little bit about getting millions of streams on Spotify and stuff like that. And one really cool fact, if you know the artist Tory Lanez, an artist that she's worked with over the past little while, has been on tour with him on his European tour more than once, I think you said, and I'm not going to try and butcher her story, so I'm going to let her tell you guys a little bit more about herself, and then she can dive right into her training, and then we're going to do questions. So make sure you can type your questions in the chat if you want. You can also just type them in the Q&A box at the bottom, and then anyone who pre-emailed questions, I'm going to make sure that those get answered first. And then if you guys want, we sometimes bring on people live on video to talk with us one-on-one live. So if you want to do that, make sure you let us know and we'll try to get to everybody live and see if we can fit everybody in. I just want to say before we do that, just make sure you're really conscious of other people on the call and try not to take up too much time. But we'll try and dive in with you as much as we can. And on that note, I'm going to put it over to Lynn.
Thank you so much for the amazing intro. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so we do artist and label services. Over the past year, we've actually secured over 3 million streams independently for artists, which has been really cool. We've had some artists go on tour, like you said, with Tory Lanez. We recently just on Monday had one of our clients do a live premiere with Ebro Radio on Apple Music, which was really cool. So we've got a ton of really cool things going on. And like you said, we're trying to plug artists into all the right avenues to actually grow their visibility, grow their success, grow their streaming, and actually put them in the right places to get the notability that they need to actually create a career out of themselves. So that's just some of the really cool things that we're doing. And I'm really excited to share some of these fun, free tips with you guys today. It's super good. I have planned, like you said, a little bit of a course. Basically, I'm just going to share some of the tips that and the secrets that I've kind of used to create direct relationships with playlist curators myself. I actually recently had the opportunity to speak with a Interscope representative who works on the streaming side. He actually told me that they get daily playlisting reports for both independent and official playlists, and that he actually confirmed with me that some of the independent playlists are actually doing stronger streaming numbers than some of the official playlists, which is really cool. As some of you guys may know, it's obviously very difficult to get Spotify officials' attention because they're getting hundreds of thousands of submissions from artists, labels, managers worldwide. So one of the strongest options that I always suggest to artists is to start building your relationships with indie playlists, so you can actually start building your streams yourself, getting on these playlists, and then gaining enough notability to actually get Spotify officials' attention. So some of the cool ways. What I'm going to start with is I'm just going to start talking about Spotify official submission first, and then we'll get into the indie section. Okay, so I'm not sure if some of you guys have maybe seen the recent articles that Spotify have released in terms of how they're now accepting their Spotify official form. So I'm going to go through that with you so that you have all that information. For those of you who may or may not have access to your artist profile on Spotify, all you have to do is go to artist.spotify.com and you can claim your profile and get access to all your songs and your streaming. It's the exact same thing with Apple Music. You just go to artist.applemusic.com, claim your Apple profile, and you can get all your information there. So what you want to do is, the first thing that you need to do to actually submit to Spotify official before your song comes out is you actually have to pre-release the record. So just like you can set up a pre-order with Apple Music, it's called a pre-save with Spotify. So what that means is you're going to use your distribution company, whether that's independent, like you're using DistroKid or TuneCore, distribute your record, and you want to pre-order it and pre-save it for at least 1 week in advance. So 1 week before the song actually comes out, you want to pre-save and pre-order. Okay. Once you do that, what you do, give it about 24 hours and then go into your artist profile on Spotify. In the very top header, as soon as you come on your artist profile, it'll actually show the new song that you're releasing. It'll show the release date, and then it will say submit to us. So when you click submit to us, you actually can fill out that form, and that will actually submit your song to Spotify official directly, which is really cool. Because before it was a private form that only certain people could get access to, and now it's open publicly, which is beautiful. So that's a really amazing way for you guys to actually directly connect with Spotify, get your name in front of them, and use that tool every single time you're releasing a record to pre-release it, submit it to Spotify, and then get it out there. What you want to also do is when you actually have that pre-save link with Spotify, make sure that you're sharing that everywhere. Share it on your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook, everything, and make sure the biggest thing is that you're actually tagging Spotify that's in your country. So Spotify wants you to actually build a relationship with your country's head office. So for an example, if you're in Canada, a lot of you guys are in Canada, if you're posting it on Instagram, then tag at Spotify Canada. If you're posting it on Twitter, same thing, at Spotify Canada. If you're in the Netherlands, post it at Spotify, I think it's NL. So find your country Spotify, make sure you're tagging them directly. That gives a bunch of benefits because you're putting in front of them the record that you've already submitted to their backend, which is beautiful. Another little side note on the distribution. I don't know who you guys are using in terms of TuneCore or CD Baby or whatever, but personally, I find DistroKid is the most amazing digital distribution platform. The reason why is because when you create a pre-save link with DistroKid, and I see that pre-save link, and I'm a fan of yours, so I click pre-save. Not only does it pre-save the record to my Spotify playlist for the day that it is released, but it also automatically follows your profile. So you get twice the benefits in just one single click, which a lot of other companies don't do. Like TuneCore doesn't do that, CD Baby doesn't do that. So that's a huge benefit as well to you guys, because you can increase your following and your pre-saves at the exact same time. So the day your record comes out, you can have a bunch of new follows, which is really beautiful.
Cool.
Very cool. The second Spotify official connection that's really good to make is a lot of people do not know about this hidden gem. It is amazing. It's community.spotify.com. So that's actually the backend community that Spotify's created, and it's an open panel discussion area. So you can go in there, you can actually talk to fans directly one-to-one, you can talk in the different forums that have been set up. The beautiful thing about the community.spotify.com that a lot of people don't know is once you actually open that website, right at the very top, it says music chats. So if you actually click music chats and then you scroll to the very bottom, you'll see a form that says playlist exchange. Okay, so it's called Playlist Exchange. And the beautiful thing that Playlist Exchange does is that's a community of independent playlisters who are posting their playlists that they've created, looking for independent artists like you guys to actually submit your music to them. So you can actually right there in that online form, talk directly with them, see the different playlists that are actually accepting music, and reply right to them in that community form, which is amazing. Usually they'll also put like their emails and stuff up there too, which is really cool. So that's a super easy way to find official playlists and indie playlists that are actually looking for music to have come on board with them, which is really cool. So I thought I'd share that because I like almost nobody that I tell that little gem to has ever even heard of that, which is cool.
Yeah, I have it. So that's sweet.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, so the second thing that I'm going to get into here is now I'm going to talk about the free playlisting submission platforms.
Street Jokes just said that is a freaking dope tip.
You are welcome. I'm glad you think so. I hope you guys can utilize that one. Mm-hmm. I feel like this is the type of community that is looking for that alternate community, so it's a perfect crossover. Mm-hmm. All right, so free playlisting. Let's talk about that because everybody wants free, right? Mm-hmm. So there's actually, I'm sure as you guys might know, you've maybe Googled this before, there are a ton of different websites that offer free playlisting services. So it's like, how do you filter through all of those and find the best ones to elevate your time that you're investing into this? What I personally suggest is using these top sites that I'm going to give you and spend even an hour a day, because we all spend an hour a day on Instagram, so we can easily take an hour of our day, jump off Instagram and do this instead. Much more beneficial. And you can actually go to these sites and submit for free. Most of them do have like a limit of how much submission you can do. So after submitting them, I think like maybe 5 or 10 times, they'll kind of cut you off. So you can just jump on the next website, submit a couple times there, and then just kind of filter through. So the first one is indiemono.com. So INDIE mono, MONO.com. IndieMono has a ton of amazing playlists. You can filter it by genre, which is great for you guys. And same thing, all you have to do in exchange is just follow that playlist. And then once you follow the playlist, it allows you to submit for free, which is amazing. The second one is soundplate.com. So sound, SOUND, plate, PLATE.com. The benefits of SoundPlate, it's very similar to Indie Mono. All you have to do is follow the playlist. It'll allow you to then submit to the playlist for free. The beautiful benefit of SoundPlate, which I like above some of the other ones, is that it not only allows you to submit to Spotify playlist, but it also allows you to submit to Deezer playlist. And as some of you may or may not know, Deezer actually pays a higher streaming royalty over Spotify. So if you get on some of the Deezer lists, you'll make a little bit more money on your streaming side than you will with Spotify, which is really cool. And then the next one is dailyplaylist.com. So dailyplaylist.com, constantly adding new playlists, a lot of really good ones, smaller playlist and bigger, which is amazing. You can same thing, filter through. All you have to do is follow the playlist, and then you will be able to get access to submit to those lists. I do not, also side tip, I don't suggest submitting more than once to these playlists. If you submit a song once, I wouldn't submit again, because if you bombard them, they'll kind of blacklist you, which is not good.
Do you mean at the same time? Like maybe have a campaign for one song and then don't submit, like submit at a future time, or you just mean ever?
Yeah, so like what I would do is if you're pushing one single, I would go through all the playlists and submit to each playlist just once.
Okay.
The other tip that I'll say is when you submit to that playlist, what I would do as well is after you submit to the playlist, open that playlist in your Spotify app and look at the description. Because most of the time, these playlists in the description of their playlist will have an email, potentially a contact email, like a Gmail or something like that. So after actually submitting to the list, you can then follow up on email directly and be like, hey, I submitted my song to you. I just want to directly connect with you. You know, I really appreciate your time. Here's the link to my record. So it's kind of like you've got that secondary step to get in front of them and really get their attention out of all the other submissions that they're getting.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So it's a really, really good way. A lot of people never check the description, and like honestly, 5 out of 10 times there will be an email in the description, especially with these indie playlists.
Mm-hmm. Steph and Jeff say they both thank you so much. Big tips. This is so helpful.
Amazing, guys. I'm really happy to help you out. Another one that's a very new platform that was just created is called SpotifyMM.com. This is a really, really cool playlist site. And what it actually does is they call themselves a playlist matchmaker. So what you can actually do is when you go to the site, it actually says, please insert your genre. And then it actually filters through and finds all the independent playlists that you can contact directly to submit your song. So it basically matches your genre with the record. And I think that's super beneficial, especially if you have a very niche genre. Like I had an artist the other day who told me their track was trap techno, and like that's a super niche genre, you know what I mean? So like you kind of want to use something like Matchmaker to find like keywords for certain playlists that are very niche, that are going to fit your song a lot more than just the mainstream playlist.
Cool.
Yeah, so I really like that site. It's really cool. You guys will have a lot of fun with that. They've developed a really cool AI system. The next one is not free, but I wanted to share it anyway because it is very cheap. So most of you might know submithub.com. Yeah. Submithub.com used to only be a place where you could submit music to get blog and media reviews. SubmitHub has now actually opened their playlisting side, and I took a look the other day. They have some of the biggest playlist access with like literally 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 followers on those lists. They're huge, huge playlists. And the cool thing I like about SubmitHub is you can pay in to whatever your budget is. So if you have like $20, you can load up $20 worth of tokens. If you have $50, you can load up $50 worth of tokens, and then you could submit to playlists with your tokens. Mm-hmm. The cool thing is if they decline the song or if they don't review your song within 24 hours, SubmitHub will give you those tokens back. So like I had a client who just got like 20 tokens back. So he was able to actually go back into his profile and submit again to another 20 playlists, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. So it's not I've had success with SubmitHub. Yeah, Submit Hub's great. A lot of people had really good success with that. They have a really good return ratio, which is great. And I like the fact that they also give you feedback. Like they have to give you feedback on the song, which is
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah,
So you can kind of
exactly.
gauge like, this is working or like this is not really working as well,
Mhm.
I really
More
like
a
that.
little more real.
Yeah, a little more real. Because
Mhm.
9 out of 10, if you send an email yourself, it's like you don't know if that person heard it. They're probably not going to give you feedback. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
exactly.
it's good.
Crickets.
And then yeah, like lastly, like I said, definitely do your additional research and go and look at these playlists yourself, see how many followers they have, and always check the description to see if you can nab an email. And as an artist or a manager, like just, create like a Google Doc Excel sheet. And as you're going through these playlists, keep track of like the playlist that you found, the link, and then the email. And then every time you come out with a new song, you can just copy and paste all those lists that you already found and submit to them again, which is beautiful. And it keeps your name in their ear, it keeps their eyes on you. And they're like, oh, this person submitted to me like 5 times. And maybe after, the third, fourth time, you'll probably get some pickup from them.
Mhm.
Which I think is amazing.
Mhm.
So the third section that I want to talk about, so those are the free playlists, those are the official submissions. And then the very last tool that I want to give you guys, which is a big one. A lot of people don't know about this, surprisingly. I thought everyone knew about it. I didn't think it was like a gem. And then I started sharing it with people, and people were like, whoa, I've never heard of this, which is chartmetric.com.
Mhm.
Chartmetric is huge, 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 huge. It is an amazing way and tool, really, on the internet to find curators, find playlists, and find A&Rs. And once again, not only is this for Spotify, but it's also for Apple Music and Deezer, which is huge because Apple Music and Deezer both pay a higher royalty stream than either of those guys. So you're gold.
Mhm.
I had a client who actually got picked up on 2 official Deezer playlists. Just from 2 playlists, he did 20,000 streams, and he got a nice little payout from that. So Deezer is very supportive, and they keep your song up on their list for a very long time. So I definitely suggest trying to connect with Deezer just as strongly as you're trying to connect with Spotify. Those guys over there are amazing. And their official head office people are super supportive. Once you actually get in contact with them, they're very easygoing, and they're like, yeah, keep sending us music. Like, we'd love to connect. So definitely a really good team at Deezer. The cool thing about Chartmetric is, once again, if you don't have a budget, they do have a free option. You just have to sign up and you get access to certain parts of their website. You can see certain things. They also have a paid subscription, which gives you obviously full insights and full stats. I personally suggest, if you do have a little bit of a budget, definitely do the paid subscription option, because you'll be able to get insights and you'll be able to see, like, if a playlist hits you up and it has 20,000 followers, you need to know that that playlist is real and that the following is real and the streams that are coming from it are real, because you do not want to jeopardize your Spotify profile. You do not want to get banned. That would be a nightmare.
Mhm.
So Chartmetric kind of eliminates that and makes sure it actually shows you. So I have it pulled up here, and it actually shows you, like, it gives you a breakdown of how often they're adding songs to the playlist. It shows you how frequently and engaged the playlist is. So like if the playlist has, for an example, this playlist here has 20 million followers, like it's an official playlist called Top Today's Hits. It has 22 million followers, and average about 5 million people a month are listening to it, which is absolutely insane.
Are you able to share your screen maybe?
Am I able to share my screen? Yes, I think I can do that. Let me see.
I think if you just click the share button at the bottom and then click screen and then click share.
Amazing.
There we
Can you
go.
guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Let me open this up a little bit more here. Oh, sorry. So yeah, this is the tool that I was talking about right here. So as you can see, you can actually go through, obviously you can see these are the biggest playlists. So we're not going to focus on that because once again, like those are official playlists. You guys want to get on the indie list to start, right? But once again, it's a great tool. So you can even see here 28-day ad ratio. So 50% of the time they're adding new songs to their list. This is showing you right here, average monthly listeners. So how many people are actually listening to this list. And then as you can see, some of these lists aren't adding songs as frequently as the others, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the beautiful thing is, what I'll show you about this is, let's say this is what you can use Chartmetric for, okay? Let's say your song is like Billie Eilish. You sound like Billie Eilish. You're like, if I was to target an audience, it would be Billie Eilish's audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you do is you pull up Billie Eilish's profile. You just type in the name in the search bar here. You can find any artist, indie or major. Tracks everything. So what you do is you scroll all the way down here. Sorry, it's being a little bit slow because I'm on the live chat with you guys. But look at these stats. It shows you, you know, female versus male, what age group, what playlists they're on, YouTube views. It's absolutely insane. So right here, you see where it says playlist here? So these are the playlists that Billie Eilish has been added on. And as you can see, some of these playlists are most definitely independent, right? As you can see, Deezer supports her a lot. So right here, you can actually see the playlist that she's on, the track that they've added, what position she's on, and how many followers that playlist has. So you can actually look up your own self on this. You can actually type in your own name, look up your own profile, see what playlists are supporting you, and you know, all of these amazing stats. So let me go through here and find some of these indie lists for you guys. So here you can see Apple Music Daily. You can see their Spotify viral charts. You can see the Spotify top 200 charts, Deezer playlist, and then Deezer current list. So I'm actually just going to focus on the Spotify list for you guys. Where are they? Chart. I'm on Spotify. Here we go. So, great example. Okay, this right here, you can see this is a Spotify playlist. This is not an official Spotify playlist. However, this playlist has 23,000 followers. It's only got 79 songs, which is amazing. So your competition is not that high. And it's doing amazing on the list. Same thing with, let me find another one right here. Release Radar, new releases 2018. Dagger 123, 12,000 followers. And he's got the track When the Party's Over up. So what you can actually do to research and figure out these playlisters is you can click their profile and it will actually bring you to the curator's profile directly. Now, most of the time, it'll have their social media connected right here on the top of their profile. So you can actually click Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can find them on social media platforms and get their email. Or, like I said, you can actually just type in on Spotify this playlist, pull it up, and see if they have an email in the description. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. You know, it's not like a guarantee, but obviously it's a really easy way to get connected with some of these playlisters who are obviously supporting really good records. So same thing, this one here, 3FM, Autumn's here, only 3,000 streams, but it only has 30 tracks. So if you got your song on there, it'd probably do pretty decent. So you can actually go through and take a look. Same thing, Girl Power, Thank You Next. Carrie Castro owns this list and has 56,000 followers. So you could hit up Carrie, open up her profile, and you could see on here, okay, she's got no social media. Pull up your Instagram and type in Carrie Castro and see if you can actually find her on Instagram yourself. If you can't, same thing. Go take a look at the playlist that she has. So it'll actually show you all the playlists right here that Carrie runs. So as you can see, she's got the biggest one is 56,000. She's got a couple others with a couple thousand followers here. So same thing, you could open up Moody Monday, her playlist, and you could check the description because it's a smaller playlist. So she might actually have her email added in there. So that is the absolute beauty right there of using Chartmetric. And this right now is on a paid option, but you should be able to get this application, like where it shows the playlist, how many followers they have, all that stuff for free.
Cool. That's pretty awesome.
Very, very awesome. So that is one of the biggest tools that artists use to find playlist, check in, similar artists, like, okay, I fit best with this type of artist, so here are the playlists that are actually going to support that type of music, and then to actually connect with the curators. So there's also a tab up here where you can click curators, and it will show you a bunch of curators, both independent and official. It'll show you the playlist, and then you can also connect with some A&Rs, which is really cool. And then the amazing thing is here as well, you can actually see how good their playlists are doing, how much the playlists are growing, and how often they're changing and adding songs. So like, as you can see, they're changing up almost daily on this playlist, which is amazing. So it's really active, really good. You can see right here, new tracks of the week that she's adding. You can see, how many official artists, like label artists she has on that list versus independent artists, which is really cool. You can see what genre she's posting the most of. So you can see it's obviously mainly pop, dance pop, and teen pop. So if that's what you fit into, this is the perfect playlist for you. So you can get a better idea of that too. And you can actually do your research a little bit more on your own and kind of see some of these options that are available there for you. So to me, that's like one of the best ways to discover new music.
Right. Quick question. Do you know if Chartmetric has little workshops that kind of teach you how to use their platform? Are you aware of that?
I don't think they do. However, I have gone on YouTube and there is so many people that have videos on how to use Chartmetric, how they use it to their benefit. So I definitely suggest looking into those for sure.
Yeah. So this may seem a little bit confusing right now, but just like any platform, just go play around with it and then go to YouTube University and find videos on how to do it, or contact their chat people and see if they'll help you out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So
those are all my amazing tips. Like I said, you've got all those free websites, and then you've got Chartmetric, which is like the holy grail of finding playlists.
Right.
And there's no cap on it. Like, you could sit there for 6 hours if you were that into it and just go through and find all these independent playlists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even this guy right here, he's got 50,000 followers on his list, and that's not an official playlist. Like, that's just this Clara girl has just created that list on her own. So it's like, if you can connect with that person, obviously they know how to build playlists, they have a couple of their own, and you could connect with them and figure out how to fit on their list, right?
Right. Yeah, one quick question. Do you make your artist profile yourself, or is it auto-generated?
No, it's auto-generated. So this lovely tool here automatically does that. So if you're an artist, you can actually go to this site now, search your own name, and it should automatically generate all your stats for you.
Cool.
Yep. It's very cool.
Okay.
A lot of the clients we work with, the Spotify artist profile has been lagging a bit, like it's a couple days behind. So like, if you check your stats, it'll be like November 25th, you did 1,000 streams on that day. So it won't be the current up to date because they're updating the platform so much. So this is a great way to actually see yourself as an artist, what playlists you've gotten on and what date you got on them and how your growth is going on your own list, which is really cool.
Alrighty. You just let me know when you want to start doing like a true Q&A, or do you still have more training to do?
No, so that's all the tips that I have for you guys. I built it out for like a half an hour so that we can get lots of Q&A time in. So if you want to run the Q&As, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so this is one part training, just for people that are new here. It's one part training and one part Q&A. So whatever questions you have, put them into the Q&A box. First things first is the people who emailed them in advance get theirs read first. We can also bring people straight on video if you want. And like I mentioned earlier, just try and be conscious of other people's time. So try not to take up too much time. But yeah, let's just get a discussion going and talk back and forth about specific questions that you guys have in relation to streaming. And hopefully we have some answers for you. And let's get going. So I'm just going to pull up whatever questions we have in pre-submitted. Okay, so our first question is from DJ Soup, I think it's called. What are Spotify playlist curators looking for in the rhythmic area from independent artists?
What are they looking for from the rhythmic area? That's a great question. I feel like it really depends on the playlist. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Chartmetric will be a great place for that because you could look up, like for me, if I was running your account, what I would do is I would ask you, what are the two most similar songs to this? I would look up those songs on Chartmetric and see what playlists are supporting those type of rhythmic songs and what other songs are on that playlist. And then I would kind of veer my attention to those types of playlists because obviously those are the type of playlists that have already targeted your specific audience and that you can grow even quicker with them because they've already targeted that specific genre for you. And you just have to get in front of them, right? And connect with those curators directly.
Right. If you want, you can unshare your screen too, by the way.
Oh, got you.
Did that answer everybody's question? Did that question make sense? This question doesn't look like it has to do with streaming. Is Teo here? Teo wants to do about networking with booking managers, but he sent that to this streaming call. We have another question from Kay asking, how did you understand this was your calling?
That is a great question. So basically how I understood was my calling was I actually started in this game. I went to school for entertainment management. And as I was in school for entertainment management, I was actually managing a couple artists. So as a manager, you need to understand how to do these things for your artist and how to plug into different areas for free or paid or how to leverage their music the best that you can. So what I did was I kind of just used those couple years of managing those artists to figure all this stuff out. And then I just kind of veered towards what I liked most. Like I'm a numbers girl. I really get intrigued by finding playlists, finding numbers, how engaged they are, how they're helping artists, how they're building them, all that sort of stuff. Because when you think about it as an artist, like you're trying to get in front of your targeted audience, right? When you think about it, the old school way of that was you would get your song on a radio station that played your music. Well, now playlists are the new radio stations. So if you take your song and you get your song added to this playlist, you're putting it directly in front of your targeted audience without having to do anything yourself. These people have already done all that work for you. So for me, that was like a super intriguing part. And I really wanted to continue to help artists and get them in front of their audience and help them develop their careers that in ways that made sense. So I kind of figured out a bundle of different ways that made sense. And streaming is the biggest one that makes sense for artists right now, whether it's on any single platform, you know, Tidal, Spotify, Deezer, whatever. So that's kind of like where I find excitement in this. And I have a passion for it, is really helping artists connect their music in the right ways and getting them in front of audiences like this.
Right. Awesome. Okay. So we have, so I'm going to take this as a question. How can an artist make money from this?
That is an awesome question. Oh my God. I knew someone was going to ask that. I'm really happy. Okay. So, guys, fun story. If you distribute your own record using DistroKid, let's say, when your song goes up on Spotify, Apple, Deezer, wherever, every single time someone plays that song, you get paid a royalty for that. So the benefit of getting on playlist is to increase your streaming numbers, because the more streaming numbers that you do, the more royalties and money that you can make directly yourself from your distributor. Also, labels right now, every single label, investor, streaming company, etc., that I work with, all they care about is streaming numbers. They want to see artists who are going to do really well in streaming. So the more streaming numbers you have, one, you actually make royalties off that and you make money yourself. So it's like investing in yourself to make an ROI back, which is amazing. And then also it's a huge leverage when you're talking to other people like managers, producers, labels, whoever that you want to work with to get their attention, because they're going to want to work with artists who have a huge audience already and are able to get attention on their music.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, mainly obviously you're making money off of the stream, so that's like your number one right there.
Right. If anyone has any deeper questions in relation to money, make sure you post them in there as well. Because there's lots more to talk about there and how much money you can make. But I'm trying to work through these questions that everyone's asking. Do you tend to find more success from reaching out to curators directly or using submission platforms?
A little bit of both. I find it's always best to create a direct relationship with them through email, because then it's almost like having someone's phone number. Like you're able to actually hit them up directly, as opposed to their submission form or obviously going to some sort of general inbox where they maybe have an assistant filtering through. So definitely try and find like their Instagram, because on their Instagram, they'll probably have their email listed. Like you can click that email button and get their email that way, or find out if they have an email in their description, on their website, on their Twitter, somewhere like that, that you can directly contact them. But I definitely suggest using both, because I have for sure had success submitting songs on those websites that I've shared with you and getting picked up on them. I actually had a client that I used, I think Soundplate. I submitted his song a bunch on Soundplate, and he got picked up on the Rick and Morty playlist, which had 74,000 followers on it. And he did like, I think it was like 3,000 or 4,000 streams just from that playlist. So definitely a good way to find success is through those lists, and then also building the email list as well for yourself. So both, definitely both.
Right. And through any social platform too. Like I've found, I used to do a little bit of indie, what did we call them? We called them independent curators, so independent of the platform. But we would find them on every platform. We'd find them on Twitter, we'd find them on YouTube, we'd find them on Facebook even, and Instagram, you name it. Because all these playlisters, usually a lot of times their playlists are so big because they were already an influencer in another space. Like they may have been an Instagram, they may have had a lot of streams on or followers on Instagram, and then they made a playlist and their playlist became huge. Or they're a YouTuber and then they make a playlist and their playlist becomes huge. So you can find them on another platform and just and even private message them. We actually built a couple of relationships just through private messaging people on their social media platforms. But on that, do you have any tips on etiquette for approaching them, like things to say?
Yeah, definitely. So do not be that person that sends them a message that's this freaking big. That's like, hey, go check out my song, drop a comment, like whatever. Do not do that.
Mm-hmm.
Literally be super professional and be a real human. Always start, hey, how's it going?
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to connect with you for this specific reason. Would you prefer if I emailed you directly? Or what is the best way for me to connect with you?
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
100%. Yeah.
Do not send them your links. Do not send them anything. They will immediately take it as spam. They will ignore you, and then your relationship is ruined right away. It's always best to just keep it super real and just send a really nice, polite message on just simply asking them what's the best way to connect with you, you know?
Yeah. That's my favorite way. When you ask.
Hell yeah. And then 9 times out of 10, they'll actually respond and be like, hey, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Like, the best way to contact me is email. Here's my email. You
Yeah.
know?
I think also a little bit of flattery too helps. Like if you start off just by saying, "Hey, I love your playlist," like, and just start a conversation. I always try and see anytime I'm reaching out to someone digitally, I try and picture them actually standing in front of my face. So I wouldn't walk up to somebody with a CD and just be like, "Listen to this."
Yeah.
And when
Exactly.
anyone, like, I get messages all the time too of people saying, just private messaging me saying, "Listen to my song," I instantly delete it. I won't.
Yeah.
I
Same.
want you to start a relationship with me first. Like, say hello, how's it going? Or something you would do in a real life networking situation.
Definitely. That's what I tell people, use the internet and the way you speak to people on the internet the same way you'd speak to them in real life. Like, just like you said, would you walk up to someone on the street and be like, hey, go comment on my video? They'd be like, what's wrong with you? Like, that's so weird,
I
Like,
know. I don't understand why people do that.
yeah, it's really strange.
Like, how do they not understand that it's spam? Okay,
Exactly.
Steph has an amazing question, but I know other people put in the Q&A before you did, Steph. I'm going to get to it, I promise. Uh, do you tend to find... Oh, okay, sorry. He wrote that already. Do you tend to find success from reaching out directly? This is from James By. Okay, so we answered that. Also, can you submit tracks directly through Chartmetric, or is that just a place to find targeted playlists and then you can find ways to connect with those curators?
Correct. That's just the way to, one, find the playlist that you'll fit best on, and two, find the curators so you can connect with them. They don't actually have a submission platform at all. That's just a great way to like find these curators, find the playlist that they actually own, and then figure out ways to connect with them, whether it's their social medias linked, or you can actually look up their playlist and get the email from their bio, or little tricks like that. And honestly, I find as well, for an example, when I showed you the screenshot and it was like, that playlist is run by Carrie Watson. Like, if you pull up your Instagram and type in Carrie Watson, you can probably find her on Instagram. You know what I mean? Because 9 times out of 10, the username they use for Chartmetric or their Spotify playlist is the same username they use for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Right. I'm wondering if I press this answer live button, if these people are going to come on live. Does anyone want to come? Like, Steph, you have a really good question, and I'm wondering if maybe if you want to come on live.
Yeah, there's so many good questions here.
Type
Wow.
yes in the chat box. Teo, do you have a recommendation on which distributors to go through? We've tried DistroKid and TuneCore, pros and cons. I personally love TuneCore. Obviously, Lynn, you love DistroKid.
Well, pros and cons for sure of both. So I love DistroKid for the simple fact that it's really cheap. It's like, I think, $24 for the entire year, and you get unlimited uploads, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to TuneCore, it's like pay per song or
Yeah.
pay for an album, right?
Yeah.
So pros and cons there. The other thing that I love about DistroKid is, like I said, when you set up those pre-save links, you get 2 in 1. So when someone pre-saves your record, it automatically follows you, which is like a double whammy, because it's really hard to get followers on your platforms like Spotify. Really, really hard. So I really like that. However, I love TuneCore for the fact that they've just released YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram monetization. So you can actually monetize your songs on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, if they're being used. And the fact that if you don't have a record label or a manager or whatever, you can also use publishing through TuneCore, and you can get them to be your publisher and collect your money for you, which is brilliant. So I think it really just depends on what you're trying to do. Like, if you're just an indie artist, just like starting to launch your music, and you just really want to figure out some beautiful, quick ways to get it out there and elevate it, use DistroKid. If you're a little bit more advanced and you want to do the publishing side and the YouTube monetization and all that stuff, then definitely go with TuneCore.
Right. Does anyone else have any? Type in the chat box what you use. There's also, I've seen articles out there that compare all of them. So you can Google like distribution, you know what I'm trying to say, comparisons articles. There's lots of them out there. CD Baby, TuneCore, and DistroKid. Yeah, there's pros and cons to all of them, but I mean, I think all of them are good for different reasons. AWOL, DistroKid
AWOL's great.
gets the
However,
songs up
AWOL
way
is
faster.
like an approval system, right? So you have to like be approved by them to get access. So I would suggest going with something like at least like DistroKid or TuneCore, so then at least you know you're like approved because you just have to pay, right?
Right.
Um, the
Um,
other thing too is DistroKid does like I use DistroKid and they pay out in like 30 days. Like I've been collecting, I just released a record last month and it did 45,000 streams in a month and I already got paid royalties on that. So
are
very
you
quick.
willing to share how much? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Let me do the royalty calculation. Hold up. Exactly how much I made out of that.
And in the meantime, Steph, can you try and figure out how to come live with us? I don't remember. I'm so new to this system. Okay, Steph's going to try and come live with us. He's got a cool question. Steph
So
is a guy.
just from Spotify alone, from 45,000 streams, it was 180 USD.
$180 American for how many? Sorry?
45,000.
For 45,000.
And once again, remember guys, Spotify pays the lowest streaming royalties. So if I did that on Tidal, for an example, I would have made $550. If I did that on Apple, that would have been 225 USD. So way higher numbers on other platforms.
Cool. Good to know. If anyone else is like really open to sharing the numbers, that'd be great too. Cause I know it's a lot of people have no idea how many streams they need to make a certain amount of money.
Also, I'll share it with you in this chat here too. I have a link. It's called streamingroyaltycalculator.com. You can actually type in exactly how many streams you're estimating. Like if you're like, I want to get 50,000 streams, you can click any platform, Apple, Deezer, whatever, and then you can type in how many streams and it will calculate the exact amount of money that you'll make off of that. Which is freaking genius.
Okay, I see that Steph raised his hand, but I can't figure out how to get him on. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, raised hand. Allowed to talk. Okay, I'm going to bring you on video. Promote to panelist. Yay! Okay, so you just have to unmute yourself, and I think you can do that in the lower left corner. Steph!
I'm on the internet.
Hi!
Hey, Steph.
Wow. Okay, hello. Thank you so
Hi,
much.
Steph. I'm excited that you're here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to ask my question live. I appreciate it. Hello?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay.
Thank you. My internet is really slow, so you're kind of cutting out for me. So I'm sorry if I cut out, but just keep talking. Tell everybody where you're from.
Okay, I feel like a news correspondent, and there's like that lag, like the 30-second lag.
Yep.
Okay, so my name is Steph Reed, and I am from Brooklyn, New York. I'm a singer-songwriter, producer, and musician, and I've been releasing music independently for 6 years, and before that I was producing music for other people for about 13. So in total I've been doing music professionally for about 20 years.
Awesome.
My question is, what's the best strategy to use playlist placements to get on bigger playlists? I've been using Chartmetric for about a year. I've gotten placements on several playlists, including Indie Mono, and just a bunch of others. I can't think of all the names at the top. But I've gotten some streams, couple hundred streams here and there, but no big jumps. It feels like I've been moving laterally in that aspect. What is a proper playlisting pitching strategy before and after? And how do I go executing this in a way that's going to scale? You know what I mean? I've done like shouting them out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, tagging them, doing using my newsletter and like letting people know, hey, I'm on these playlists, check them out. But you know, not wanting to be redundant and sharing the same content and messaging every day that I'm on this playlist, check it out. What else can you do to go about turning this into like something bigger?
Well, I mean, at that point, if you're getting already really good support from the independent playlist, you might want to, like you said, step it up to try and start getting support from the official playlist. So a really cool way would be maybe try LinkedIn and type in Spotify Canada or Spotify US and find some of these people that work for Spotify and try and connect with them directly. They'll be able to see your streaming numbers. And as long as you have good streaming numbers and you've already got support from some of the other playlists, that could be a really good way to kind of bridge that gap with them. Or if you do have a little bit of a budget, it seems like you said, you've already kind of used all of these methods yourself in the free realm.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe try looking into some really cheap options for playlist pitchers. Like, we do playlisting. There's tons of companies out there that do it. And
I reached out to a guy named Charles Alexander. He was with a company called Streaming Promotions.
Yeah, they're like one of the most popular ones.
Yeah. So I reached out to him. We spoke, had a long conversation. I reached out I found him on social media, got to his Facebook, and then he let me call him. We spoke for like an hour. He decided to pass, but I asked him if he could recommend any other companies. If you wouldn't mind giving me some referrals, I would definitely recommend.
Sorry, I was going to jump in there. What, like one that we use all the time in Canada too, like Lynn does it. But we use Flying Colors in Canada. And then I used Artist Method in the US. Artist Method, we had success getting on Apple Music. We got like number 1 on our release day on their top Apple Music playlist with Artist Method, but we had zero success with them getting onto any Spotify or any other streaming playlist. So it's hard for me to recommend people because like I don't know if you're going to have success with it, and I didn't necessarily have the most success with it, but I did use them. We did get on an Apple Music like top something or other on the release day. And then there's Flying Colors in Canada. Like you got to make sure that these people, I think before recommending anyone, make sure that they actually do have connections with the headquarters, like the people that are like the big boss at the headquarters. And then they can try to get you onto their playlist. Like if anyone's saying like they can guarantee that you're going to get onto an official Spotify playlist, I think Lynn can probably agree. Like you can't guarantee that you're going to get onto an official playlist, right? Yeah. But they can try their best, right? I don't know. What do you think, Lynn?
For me, I would say, like you said, I actually do playlisting. And with our company, the reason why we've been so successful and we stand out is because we do have a guaranteed stamp on our product. So we don't say, oh, we'll just pitch your playlist and kind of see what happens. We say like our minimum package is like we guarantee your song will get added to playlist totaling 100,000 followers, totaling 500,000 followers, totaling 1 million. So in your mind, my playlist is going to get added to 5 playlists that are 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, totaling 100,000. So for sure there's some sort of guaranteed threshold there where you're going to have some success, right? But what I could say in the realm of, once again, like you were speaking to, is finding a distributor who has really good reputation with playlisting. So like she said, for example, Flying Colors, they're a distributor. So yes, you're going to have to give them 20% of your royalties, but in exchange for that, they're going to pitch your song for free because they're getting a piece of your royalties to Spotify official, to independent playlists, and they're going to advocate on your behalf. So I would say at this point, maybe that's where you're at because you've already got some good streaming numbers there to validate that you're someone who they'd want to work with. And then at least that way, that kind of takes the weight off of your shoulders and you just put it on them, and then you can just follow up with them every day like, hey, did you pitch my song? What's the success ratio? And kind of use your distributor as an advantage to get you on playlists. Because we worked with Fontana North for my artist Macy's first single that came out, and they did incredible. They got her on the cover of the indie pop chill out playlist with like 200K followers. They got her on New Music Friday. Like, they did amazing. And then based off that relationship, when I came out with my next single independently, I was then able to bridge that gap with Spotify myself. And now I've gotten her on New Music Friday again. Another thing I will say is, yes, just as important as getting on Spotify official lists are, I was telling Jamie this yesterday, my artist got on Tomorrowland is Love playlist. It's an independent playlist and it has 164,000 followers. I also got her on New Music Friday playlist. That Tomorrowland playlist that's independent actually did more streams. It did like 7,000 streams. And the New Music Friday official playlist with double the followers only did like 4,000. So you just have to be very specific too about the types of playlists, because obviously the more following they have and the higher you can get in their placement, the better it is. And maybe you can even reach out to some of those bigger guys and, you know, create like a way to be like, hey man, can I pay you, you know, $25 to be like in your top 25? So at least you're getting a royalty back off that, right? So it's kind of like you're making the money back eventually anyways. So
I've done some of the pay to play ones, like $20. I've found some of those and done them. Again, it was just, you know, a couple dozen streams, maybe. Yeah, those are like a couple dozen, and it's like, I guess the big thing is like, I feel like when it comes to streams, it's in a lot of ways subjective, where it's like, I think it was like, oh, this is enough to be able to leverage to get other relationships and other communities. And, you know, it's subjective. So someone else might say, that's cool, we need you to get this other number. So what are some strategies, strategies in regards to like promoting and keeping a specific playlist placement, you know what I mean, to stay on that playlist and to use that to get on that playlist. And just what would you say are like successful numbers, you know what I mean? Like, I might say, oh, I got 5,000 on this, or 3,000, or a couple hundred in X amount of time, or this many lists. But again, depending on who you're talking to, then that's
well, I'll tell you right now, like, you don't need a lot. There's two artists here in Toronto that just got a Warner Music deal, and I did their playlist pitching for them. On one record, they only did 56,000 streams. On another record, they did 38,000 streams. And out of that, they got a record deal, and they both got a $10,000 advance from that. Those are not big streaming numbers. People think you need like 1 million streams. You don't. Like, that's a lot of streaming, especially as an indie artist. If you're able to pull in 50,000 people, like, think if you convert those 50,000 and sold 1,000 of them t-shirts, or sold 1,000 of them concert tickets. Like, that's huge, right? So I think where you're at, the best case scenario for you at this point would be to take the success you've created and get a distributor on board to push you to the next level. Like Jamie was saying, to get you on those official lists and start building those bigger relationships for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, my internet's kind of cutting out, so I don't know if I'm speaking over somebody right now.
No, you're good.
I'm currently working with AWOL. I'm working on setting up an office meeting to be able to have this kind of conversation.
Yeah, definitely chat with AWOL for sure. They're great. They've got huge connections, and if you can actually get into the office and like meet with somebody, then you're golden.
Got it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, sorry. I keep cutting out, so I don't know if I'm talking over people or not.
It's okay.
I just wanted to say something quickly about like how you know if your numbers are high or not. And I think it's so personal. Like what could be high for you might be not high for somebody else, sort of thing. And so I always think it's really important just to compare yourself to yourself. Like, are you getting more streams than you did yesterday? Or is this song getting more streams than the last song? I guess it's just like personal growth. As long as you're growing, right? And if you're not growing, then something's not quite working out. And also on that topic, we do have a comment from someone saying, isn't that payola? And this is actually something that I wanted to talk about because what is your opinion on payola, Lynn? Because I know it's for history of music, it's been frowned upon to pay somebody to play something for you. When it's not a radio promoter, because when you pay radio promoters and streaming promoters, right, you're paying them for their time. You're not paying them to get you on a playlist. Well, you're hoping that they'll get you on a playlist, but you're more so just paying them for their time and hoping that they'll get some success for you. Just like you pay a publicist, you're paying for their time. You pay a streaming promoter for their time, etc. But what's been frowned upon in the past, which it's not really as much of a thing anymore. But let's say a manager or somebody would pay the radio station directly to add their song, which is payola, which is wrong. Because the radio station is already making money and it's a backwards deal. So what is the difference between like that and paying like an independent? So I guess what would happen is you wouldn't pay Spotify directly because that's payola. Spotify can't take money from you.
But remember, like, let's be real about the industry right now, okay? Like, labels aren't paying Spotify, but then they're paying millions of dollars in ads. So then Spotify is like, oh, well, you know, who are we going to put on our playlist? An indie artist who's never spent a dime with us? Or are we going to put the huge label that is spending millions of dollars on ads? So it's kind of payola, just like behind the curtain payola. Mm-hmm. So it really is just like, to me, your perspective on payola. It's the same thing with a publicist. Like, even with, I do like publicity myself for artists. And I tell artists all the time, they're like, oh, isn't it frowned upon to, you know, pay a blog to post your song? And I'm like, okay, you have two options. Are you going to pay a publicist for their time with no guarantee? So you're going to put $1,000 of your money into a publicist and hope that something comes out of it? Or are you going to pay someone who says, I will guarantee this will happen for you? So at least you have a little bit more leverage and you can actually know that you're yielding guaranteed results from what you're paying into, in my opinion anyway, right? That's just kind of how I see the payola situation, because, you know, I just think that as like a previous manager, like, I've paid a publicist $1,500 to run a record for a month or two, and out of that I got like 3 blog placements, and it's like, really? I just paid $1,500 for 3 blog placements? And then I used another company where I only paid $1,000 and I got 12 huge articles out of it. And it's like, so like, what am I going to do here? You know what I mean? Am I going to use my money to get guaranteed results, or am I going to like sort of play by the rules and use my money to get some pitching in someone's time, you know?
Mm-hmm. I just want to know, Steph, have we kind of answered your question?
Yep.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's try and move on to another question then. There, you can mute yourself. I don't know if you can stay on camera if you want. We can just watch you hang out. Yeah, I think this whole payola conversation, we can pick it up another time. If you guys want, we can chat about it in the green room as well. Because it's a little bit of a touchy topic, but I really want to answer questions that have to do with that people have answered, people have asked on here as well. Definitely. What do we have here? Do you still manage artists one-on-one, from Sam? I don't know if that's for me or you. I'm assuming it's for you. I don't.
So I do manage one artist one-to-one right now. It just takes a lot of effort, time, resources. So it really depends on where they're at in their career and what they're looking for. I do artist consulting. So I'll actually consult you and coach you through everything. So if you are interested in that, just hit me up on Instagram. We can have a conversation. We can do a little email exchange and see sort of where you're at and what you're looking for. And maybe I can help guide you in the right way.
Okay. Are the managers, this is from Sarah. Sarah, do you want to come on camera? Nope, it's okay. Okay, so are the managers usually building the relationships with the playlist curators, or do the artists reach out directly? I'm going to say both.
Yeah, if you have a manager, that would be a great use of your manager's time. If you don't have a manager, then you can totally do it yourself. Once again, like we talked about earlier with Jamie, it's just about being professional and approaching them in the right way, right? Just making sure you're not sort of bombarding them with promotion and actually trying to build a relationship and have a conversation with them. So if you are an artist and you're reaching out directly, just make sure you're being professional about it, and then you can build those relationships directly yourself. And then if you do get a manager, you can just kind of hand those relationships off to them and get them to keep building them up for you.
Right. I think one thing that you don't necessarily want, but it wouldn't be the worst situation, is if the artist and the manager are both reaching out at the same time, and then you're kind of reaching out to the same people. You don't really want to cross communication lines like that. So usually it's good to have one person that is in charge of doing it. But sometimes the artists have way more relationships with other artists and other creatives and other playlist people than a manager does. So maybe the artist could reach out originally and then pass it over to their manager, sort of thing. But there isn't necessarily a one way to do it. It's just make sure you're communicating about everything so no lines get crossed. Teo says, this is amazing info, by the way. Thanks so much. Thank you, Teo. What about older songs on Spotify? Can you get retroactive distribution? Asks Aja.
So the beautiful thing about playlists is they are not biased to the date you release the song. What they care about is having quality music on their playlist that are going to increase their playlist followers and fit in with the current songs and genres that they have. So it does not matter what the date release date is. It's not like publicity. Like publicity sort of has like an expiry date. In terms of, you know, how long you can go promoting a track and media won't pick it up. Like Ear Milk has literally hit me back and said if the track is more than 3 weeks old, we won't pick it up. With playlist, I've literally pitched songs that were a year old and I've gotten pick up on them. So definitely doesn't matter as long as you're making sure that you're fitting in the genre and that the song is quality and it makes sense for that playlist.
Okay. What else do we have? Did we answer this? Is there a threshold of quality for music when people approach you for pay to play, or is it anyone? Does that make sense?
I think so. So basically, I think what they're asking is maybe like certain playlisters, are they willing to accept anything, no matter how good or bad the song is, just for a payment?
Yeah, I think that is my biggest issue is I wouldn't want, because then it's not curated properly.
I agree. Definitely, this is why I say it's really good to check the playlist and see, you know, what type of music they have on there, if it's actually quality. Because you can see some of these playlists will like cap off at a certain amount of followers and they'll never grow. And that's where Chartmetric comes in, is seeing if these playlists are growing or not. Because some of the playlists won't grow because they'll just be accepting any type of song for a payment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've also seen artists like pay for playlist ads and their song is not the greatest. And then even though they're paying to get placement, their song still isn't doing good. So I think it's really important to identify like which is your most quality record, which is your highest quality, and really focus on that. And then same thing, if you're being approached by playlists who are asking for payment, just make sure you do a little research before you pay them. And make sure also you're using safe payment forms like PayPal, for an example. So if the song doesn't get added, or if they like screw you over in some way, you can just do a callback on your payment, and then you're kind of secure in that way.
Okay. Did we answer that, Teo?
Perfect.
Oh, did you hear me?
No, you cut out there for a second.
Damn it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so I was saying that we usually have Paige who collects all the questions, but she couldn't make it today. So I'm trying real hard to get through these questions. One person wants to know if you're going to have a little, can you put together like a little one sheet of all the tools you mentioned?
Sure. Yeah.
I also listed all of them in the chat as you kind of said them. So if you guys want to scroll through the chat, you can do that as well. What else? Does anybody else have any other questions? It's actually easier if you pop them in the actual Q&A button down at the bottom of your screen. If you just scroll to the bottom of your screen, so then they're just organized so much better in there.
Yeah, I think someone put a question in the chat instead of the Q&A there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Okay, we have one more question coming in. What is pre-save?
Awesome question. Pre-save. So before Spotify existed, on Apple Music, you could set your song to pre-order. What that means is before the record comes out, someone can pre-order it. So they can pay and save that record before it actually comes out. So the day that it's released and they open their Spotify app, it'll give them a pop-up and it'll say that song that you pre-saved is now released. Click here to play it. So pre-save is absolutely phenomenal in generating a lot of attention to your record before it comes out and getting people on board before it's actually released.
Yes. And then all of those pre-saves, is it like iTunes where all of those pre-saves get added up so that on day one, they build up for day one, and then on day one you have all those numbers. So you can it'll help you rank on charts.
Exactly.
Right.
Day one, when it comes out, like I said, it'll automatically be added into their playlist. It'll also give them a pop-up as soon as they open their app, like their Apple Music app or their Spotify app, and it will say like this song that you've pre-saved is now available. So they'll get a notification right away, which is huge because obviously we all have a ton of things going on. We forget about these things. So that's really cool. And yeah, it automatically saves it. So you know for sure you're in their playlist right away before it even on like the day that it comes out. So it's a great way to, like you said, spike your numbers on day one, and get people really involved on the day of release.
Okay, so Keith has a question, but the Q&A function is not letting him use it. Just trying to piece together your messages here, Keith. Is there a presentation Spotify deck that you can review? Do you know what he means by that?
Is that what he was asking about, all the like free links that I gave?
Is that what you mean, Keith? Or do you mean when you're actually pitching to Spotify, are you supposed to have a marketing deck? So in my experience, when you're pitching, especially the headquarters, especially the people that are in charge at Spotify, say, they want what we call marketing drivers. So they'll say, what are your top 5 marketing drivers? And so you'll want to give your top 5 most noteworthy points, basically. So maybe if you got some sort of prestigious award, or if you've been on, or if you've opened for a certain artist, that's amazing that they know already. Or if you've already had however many streams you've already had, basically like, just like you're pitching any industry person, you want to have your marketing drivers, right? Like your top 5 notable points. So I'm not sure if that's what you meant, Keith, but that is my experience. And when you're pitching Spotify, but not only that, they also want to know what your future plans are. So that can be part of your marketing drivers, and say, we're releasing this single and then we're going to release this single. We're also sending it to radio maybe, or we've got a tour booked, or we're going to go on a Spotify tour, or a streaming tour, or et cetera. They want to know what your marketing plans are, and they want to know what your past notable points are.
So Jamie, remember my first point? I was saying you can now submit to Spotify official using the artist profile.
Yes.
If you want, I actually have an artist up here who's releasing a song in 7 days, and I can actually show you guys that in the back end in the artist profile.
Sure. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Share my screen here. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Amazing. So as you can see, this is the artist.spotify profile. So this is the artist here. It says right here, upcoming single. This is the very homepage right now. So you can see his single upcoming is releasing in 7 days. So all you do is click submit a song. And this is exactly what Jamie was talking about. Here's what they're going to want to know. They're going to want to know what genre it is, what culture, what mood it fits. Like, is it happy? Is it sexy? Is it, what kind of vibe is it feeling? What language is it an original? Is it a cover? What instruments are in the song? And then when you go to the next page, tell us more. So I can't click that because I have to submit. But when you go to the next page and it says tell us more, that's where exactly what Jamie was just saying. It'll have that section, and it'll want to know, like, what else are you doing outside of Spotify to build up yourself? Are you doing any upcoming shows? Are you, releasing any merch? Are you booked on a talk show? Are you booked on a podcast? Are you booked on a radio station? Like, all of those press and marketing points are extremely important. Even if you have set up like a premiere with a blog like Ear Milk or Complex or something, letting them know like, hey, I actually have a song that's premiering with these people. Like this is what's happening, and anything that you can give them is going to help you elevate that with Spotify, because you're letting them know that you're doing more with your music than just putting it on a platform,
Right. Yeah. Because they don't want to support you if all you're doing is just trying to get streaming. They want to support you if you are a true performing artist that is putting effort into their career and building a fan base. So anything you can show and showing that you're sought after, right? So like you said, if someone has interviewed you in a media outlet, put that in there because it shows that people want to hear from you.
Definitely.
I think did we end up talking about genres and knowing? I think I saw a question in there. I totally lost it, the question. I can't find it anywhere, but somebody asked a question about how do they know like what their genre is or how to find kind of where they fit. If you have any more questions, type them in the Q&A. And if you were the person that asked something about a genre, can you re-put it in there? Because I don't remember what it was.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that. I think he was basically saying, how, if I don't know what what a similar song is to mine, how would I figure that out?
Mm-hmm.
And Soundplate actually has, I'm pretty sure it's soundplate.com, that actually has a tool for that. And you can actually go in and upload your song, and it tells you like what your beat per minute is, what type of like vibe the song is, like, and it will give you more of like an understanding of like where your song is at. Same thing, a lot of these playlists will tell you underneath like, we only accept BPMs of like this much, because if it's like a sad song playlist, they're not accepting like dance tracks, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's good to know like what the beat per minute is, what the vibe is, and it'll give you all those stats. And I'm almost positive that's on Soundplate. So if you use something like Soundplate to kind of analyze this song, I think that would be a great way to kind of figure out where it might fit best.
Right. Okay. That question did come in from Michael. Michael, did we answer your question, or do you want to come on live and ask us more directly? Does anybody else want to come on live and ask a question?
I think Teo originally wanted to come on live, no?
Did you want to come on live, Teo? Everybody's shy today. Michael says that pretty much covers it.
Perfect.
Thanks, Michael. Okay, so maybe we can do like a last call for questions. So maybe this can be like our official last call for questions. And if anyone has any more, I'll give you 30 to 60 seconds to type it in. If you can come up with it. If not, we can continue this conversation over in the green room. We will post the link to the replay of this in the green room, and then we can continue to chat about this topic there over in the future, tomorrow, the next day. Oh, Keith wants to know, you mentioned management consulting. I would love to hear more about that. Can I ask questions about Yes, you can. And label services, which counts as, I think you're freezing on me. Can you hear me talking?
Yeah, you froze on me on the last section. Can you repeat that for me? Sorry.
You do management consulting. That counts as your artist and label services.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So Keith wants to know just a little bit more about that. He wants to know if you can ask questions. Keith, did you want to come live, or do you want to just type your question in? No. Okay. So, do you have any specific questions about management consulting? Or do you want to just talk about how you do management consulting?
Yeah. So how I do management consulting is I actually offer a bundle package, which includes a checklist of all the things that you need before you release your record, all the things you're gonna need, like your marketing assets, like your artwork, your photos, your Instagram lives, all that stuff, what you're gonna need during, and what you can do during that for your social media rollout, your marketing rollout, your playlist pitching, all the above. So I kind of create a customized coaching plan that will take you through the process of everything you need to do before the song comes out, as the song's coming out, and after the song comes out to keep people interested in it. Because obviously new music's coming out every single day. So you have to create really unique marketing plans to kind of figure that out. So it really depends on kind of what you're looking for, where you're at. So same thing, if you want to hit me on Instagram, grab my email, and then send me the music that you're looking to release and what you're trying to do. It could be like a one-time thing where I can just set up like a one-time plan for you. It could be like a monthly thing where I check in with you week over week to see where you're at, what questions you have, all that kind of fun stuff. So it really just depends on what you need as an artist. But yeah, that's basically what I do. I almost like act as the manager, but more I'm a consultant just to tell you, hey, here's the things that you can do to create even more success for yourself. One of the tips being, I told one of the artists, instead of just posting your artwork, that's great. Artwork's great. You want to show people your artwork. However, if you're putting an Instagram ad behind it, let's say you're going to throw $10 behind your artwork cover, right? Because you want to promote it to a bigger audience and you want to use your ad game. That's great. But you should take that artwork and make it into a motion graphic so the artwork moves. Like I had an artist who it was like a photo of him and in the back it was a tree. And the tree actually moved and leaves like came off the tree. And right away, when you see that, it catches your attention and keeps people engaged with you a little bit longer than just having just a photo, because Instagram's all photos. So if you have something additional, not just a photo, it'll gain their attention. Another little thing too, in terms of the motion graphics, is I also had my artist, when she did a photo shoot, we took the photo and we made the photo move. But not only did the photo move, but we had this song play in the background of the photo. So people actually heard the song and the record started playing. So right away they could be like, oh, fuck, I like that song. Like that was really cool, you know? And they can actually be even more engaged with you. So that's like one of the things that, for an example, I would mention in consulting is creating customized, unique, creative ideas like that to help you get even more attention and stand out above the rest of the artists that are out there.
Right. Okay. He also wants to know if you have a consultant agreement. He'd love to see that and how much it costs. Why don't we?
Same thing. The best thing to do is just hit me in the email and we can talk about all that there.
Yeah.
Because I think a couple other questions too that came in.
Yeah.
And I want to get through them all. So definitely, Keith, hit me on Instagram, Icon Island. We can talk more. I'm happy to share all of those tips with you and all that information for sure.
Cool. Okay, so KM would love to ask a question. Does that mean you want to come live, KM? I know Teo does as well. Okay, so we're gonna have at least two more people come live.
Cool.
And at your daughter herein, one also has a question. Can you let us know if you want to come live as well? Yourdaughter.ca. Okay, let's bring Teo live because I know Teo wants to come live. So does your daughter. KM, let us know if you wanted to, because you just said you want to ask a question. What you have to do is you have to raise your hand. Scroll to the bottom of your thing and see if there's something that says raise your hand.
Yeah, right above the chat, it says raise hand. I see it.
Okay,
here.
cool. So then when you raise your hand, I can bring you in. Okay, Teo's coming on. And then Teo, just make sure you unmute. And if you don't actually have to come on video if you guys don't want. You can just come on voice. Teo, I can.
Hi. Yeah, can you see me? Or am I just like staring into?
Yeah, we can see your name.
Sorry
We
about
can't
that.
see your face.
Okay,
So it's totally up to you if you want to keep it just on your voice or come on camera. It's up to you.
Yeah, I don't mind coming on camera. I mean, I'm not looking the cutest, but I like to have a face to the voice. So
Yeah, all good. So just on the bottom left, you have to click show or share screen, I think is what you have to click.
Oh, gotcha. I don't see a share screen option, but it's okay. Just for the interest of time, I'll just ask my question. But I just wanted to say thank you so much. This is such amazing information that I have not gotten from anywhere else. When you're like starting to manage, you kind of scour the internet, hoping and looking for more direction. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Thanks, Lynn.
Yeah, I had some questions about and I don't know if this is as much with streaming or not, but it was the publishing side of things, and whether or not you think as a manager consultant it's worth getting involved with publishing either with TuneCore or CD Baby or DistroKid. I guess I don't think DistroKid does publishing, but one of the things that I've just kind of been mulling around as I represent my artists is whether or not to take that and do it in house versus like someone called.
Hello? Can you hear me, Lynn?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like Teo cut out.
I think, yeah, Taya might have got cut out. I think her question was in regards to publishing. I think she muted herself by accident. That's totally okay. I think her question was regarding publishing, if she should do it herself using TuneCore or if she should try to find a actual publisher to work with.
Oh, does TuneCore not count as like is that like doing it yourself if you go through TuneCore? Because I thought TuneCore was going through a publisher.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, you're totally right about that. Just in the sense of doing it yourself, as in like uploading the music and then paying for their publishing service.
Yes.
So in that sense, but yeah, I mean, I'll let Jamie chime in on this too. I personally think, like I said, I've been a manager independently for quite a long time, and I love TuneCore's publishing service. I think it's
Okay.
absolutely beautiful that you can go on one single place, pay a fee, and have them collect all the royalties. And then the beautiful thing is they have all their data and their charts there. So eventually, after a year of doing the publishing yourself, collecting some money and building a reputation, you can then take that to a bigger publishing house if you want to. But the beautiful thing is if you do it yourself, you don't have to split a publishing house 10 to 20% of your commission and your royalties
Right.
on the you can just keep that on your own.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. And
I'd say the same.
okay, very cool. And my other question was, oh, sorry, it just slipped my mind as as I was talking. But yes, do you have any suggestion on publishing houses to go to after you kind of start building up that data?
I always kind of have the same opinion where it's hard for me to recommend personally because I don't know your artist or your songs or anything. So I'm not going to recommend anything. But what the best way to do that is to always go find someone who sounds very much like you or same kind of vibe or gets on kind of the same playlist or whatever, and find out which publishers they have. Find
Okay.
as many artists as you can.
Okay, I will
Yeah.
definitely do that. And then my last question is okay. So I know Lynn, you said that you actually went to school for entertainment management, and then I'm not sure if Jamie, I wasn't sure if you said you went to school for it, but my understanding of it, it was like it's more so from experience and on the job work that like you built up your knowledge, and so. I guess just from either of you, or could you speak to that, Jamie? Did
Yeah.
you go to?
So I went to university for arts and culture, which
Ah,
included music, but it was not entertainment business.
oh,
So I started in the nonprofit world working for a nonprofit music festival. But I got all my knowledge from the music business when I started working at the Music Managers Forum.
okay.
It was all experience based. And I actually planned workshops just like this, but in person for a couple of years. Like that's how I got into the music business. And so I just sat at the panels and planned them, and I brought in all the speakers, and that's how
Gotcha.
I learned everything and read every possible book there is, built my contact database, and honestly just learned straight from experience.
Gotcha.
But with that being said, I actually teach music business now at a
Oh,
college here,
oh,
which Mike, he's on the call. He actually studied that program. He went to the music business program there, and now I teach there.
okay.
So I don't know if your question was like, do you think you should go get it
Yeah, that
yeah?
was yes, that was one of my questions. Yeah, like as someone who learned from experience, but now is teaching, and as someone who, like myself, like who scours the internet all the time and is always looking, and there's always like, you know, like it's essentially like the same way you can go on Spotify and look for music yourself, or you can have it curated and in an organized manner.
Right. Yeah.
Which, like, would you suggest that it is? Or, you know, the reason I originally like got involved with Smartest University was like, okay, I don't have time for a master's or like for a graduate degree program right now, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with something that has that information curated.
Yeah.
But one thing that I like not struggle with more or less is self-pacing and self-studying, and actually like doing it, like I have the course, but I haven't gone past like a certain point, or I'll rewatch the same thing. And so being
Yeah.
inside a university helps, you know, but
Yeah.
at the same time, that's money and time. So I guess I just wanted your like general input on
Yeah.
how
Well,
to get
thanks.
that knowledge.
Honestly,
Yeah.
though, Taylor, like I'll tell you right now, like even though I went to school for entertainment management and I have like a degree, so like I have a certificate and like I can use that as like a talking point, it's
Mm-hmm.
more so just like another notable bullet point. It's not really to say that, you know, I have more knowledge than anybody else. Like honestly, like the one single thing that I feel like I paid for in university was network. Like my network is my net worth. Like I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like I get more out of going to places and putting myself in events or parties where other people in my industry are than I ever got from university. Like in university, like it was all about connecting. Like I personally connected with my two business partners while I was going to school, and they were building a music studio. And then I partnered with them, and I was like, this is what I bring to the table. It's what you bring to the table. Let's work. And that's what I really got out of university. Like honestly, it wasn't the education. It was strictly the network. So I think if you keep doing what you're doing and you keep just focusing on networking with the right people, connecting with people like Jamie who are teaching these types of things from straight experience, that's where you're going to leverage the most. Because in this game, no matter how much you learn, the most you're going to learn is when you actually do it and fail at it and then realize, okay, that worked, that didn't work, this works great, that works great, you know? That's like where you're going to, the real like elevation is going to happen for you.
And on that note too, when you're networking with these people, I personally think the best thing you can do is take advantage of the fact that you don't quite know stuff yet. I think a lot of people try to pretend like they know everything, like fake it till you make it. And I think people should do the complete freaking opposite. Act like you know nothing. And when you make new connections, ask them for advice, because then they're become your teachers. Not only do they become your contacts, but they become your teachers. And then sometimes they take you under their wing. Like some of the most influential people in the industry that I met pretty much on day one of the job, like when I first started in the music business, which, like I said, started with the forum, the Music Managers Forum. Those same people were my teachers, because I knew a lot about planning workshops, but I didn't know anything about the music business, and I was learning it from them. And still to this day, those are the people that I call. Like just yesterday, I called up one of them and was like, I need your help. Can you help me like in an hour from now?
And
Yeah.
Theo, I think that's a great thing for you to do, is exactly what Jamie said. Find someone who, if you troll the internet all the time, there's so many really good music executives or publishers on Instagram that you can find. And honestly, what I would suggest is reach out to one of them and ask them, hey, listen, can I do some things for you for free and you mentor me for free and I'll learn on.
Oh, I like that. Okay,
You know
very
what I
cool.
mean?
Yes.
Those people are already doing what you're trying to do. So if someone has a gold record on the wall, hey man, can I do a couple of your, help you with some emails or do something for you in return for free mentorship? And maybe we meet once a week and I talk to you about what I'm doing and you can tell me if I'm going in the right direction, if you have any suggestions. And then at least you can, like exactly what Jamie said, elevate off of their knowledge and just eat their information. Because you never want to be the smartest person in the room. You always want to be in the room learning from other people who are doing something you might not be doing.
Gotcha. Okay, that is amazing. Thank you so much. And I have one last question for reals. So
For
one
sure.
thing that I've actually, I'm from Iowa, which has like a really great amount of like talent. But one thing that when I started managing my brother, that I saw with a lot of his artist friends, I'd ask like, oh, so did you already like publish your, did you already like, sign your song up with like a pro, or like did you copyright your music, or did you clear that sample? And that's not happening. And so one thing I'd actually like to do is create workshops for independent artists who like to make sure that they're protecting their music and they're not ending up like like the guy who did, I think, Magnolia or something, like he like didn't have a sample cleared or something like that, and now he's being sued. So like, if you do you have any resources, and I can email you directly, Jamie, but do you have any resources or any particular yeah, like direction in terms of like workshopping, getting funding for those type of things? Because I like to be like pro bono.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like do you have any, like, especially because you worked at a nonprofit, I love the nonprofit world, like do you have just
Mm-hmm.
advice or general words of wisdom for?
Yeah. Why don't we let's connect over email or
Okay,
something,
I will do
and we
that.
can totally talk about that. I'd love to talk about that.
Okay.
But also, I've been meaning to do this for everybody that's on the call. Can you just quickly tell everybody we'll just want to find you if you want to put yourself out there? Or...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, oh my God, everybody, if you put your Instagram in the chat, I will follow you. I will connect with you. I'm big on Instagram. I'm all about it. I'll definitely connect with all of you. Teo, two quick points just to your last sort of questioning or discussion about offering or talking about that, the servicing and setting up the royalties. Definitely set them up with pros. A lot of people do not know about Sound Exchange.
Oh,
Soundexchange.com.
yes. I
Yeah,
don't know what
a
that is.
lot
I
of
hear that
artists
all
do
the
not know
time.
about that. Yes, and not only would I suggest, I love the nonprofit world, Jamie, love the free education, it's amazing. However, take Jamie's example, make a product out of it, sell that shit. Like literally, like offer honestly, and do it cheap to begin with, and then build your own money, and then host a course out of that. So for an example, like create like a product that's maybe like 75 or $100, that's affordable, but that still makes you enough money to cover your time. And then say, I will actually help you register with your pro, with Sound Exchange, I'll do all that paperwork for you, and then build that up, build those clients up who are actually going to be interested in that services. The managers, the publishers are going to want that. Create a product out of it. It builds you money, it builds you network, and then you can also, with the knowledge of what you're doing, after doing that for 50 artists, you'll be able to actually come up with a course that is really going to help them, and then offer that as like maybe a freebie course or get a grant for it or something like that, you know?
Hey,
Yeah.
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 Put off that skill, babe.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that. For real, for real.
Yeah,
you're right.
maybe I need to start teaching people how to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, no,
There you go.
honestly, it's amazing. When I heard
Yeah.
about, like, I think I found, oh yeah, I found your course when I was like scouring the internet, and this was the most like put together, like just blog that I had read, and it had information, and you provided free resources that made me want more. And I was like, wow, like she really like, that's like the definition of an actual entrepreneur. Like I love it. Yes, I was absolutely.
Thanks. You're making me blush. Well, thank you very much. And yeah, I'd love to continue the conversation about this for sure.
I will
So,
definitely send a follow-up email. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
follow up, and you know where to find us. Well, let's all follow each other on Instagram. I'll put my personal one in here as well. And maybe we can head on to somebody else now. All you got to do is you can mute yourself if you want, or you can turn off your video. But I think if you do that, it might make you leave the call. So just turn off your sound.
I'll just mute it then.
Okay, thank you so much. We wanted your daughter wanted to come on. Allow to talk. Okay, I'm bringing your daughter. What'd you say?
I'm following all of you guys right now that are putting your Instagrams in here. I'm hitting you up as we're talking.
Why does my messages keep going specifically to Steph Reed? I'm sorry, Steph. I don't know why it's doing that.
Oh, your daughter. Yeah, no, I totally already have you. We've talked before. You're a good one.
Why? It just did it again. All panelists. There we go. Okay. Your daughter. What is your name?
Hey, my name is Heron.
Hi, Heron. Welcome.
It's so funny. It's my first time hearing someone refer to me as my like Instagram name because it's a bit of an experiment. So that's pretty funny. But yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, thanks again, guys. This is so practical and really great. So appreciate that.
Thank you. Where are you from?
In Toronto, from Toronto.
Perfect.
Hey, Toronto.
Yeah. So my question is kind of like on the reverse side of this discussion. So I'm not sure if you're able to answer it, but I'm kind of interested in knowing if you have any tips or advice or just even insights on how to be like a successful music playlist maker or like an aggregator in terms of like distribution and stuff. I've done like a little bit of research on it. And I don't know, like in terms of playlist makers, I always find like I kind of assume that it's like people that already have influence and then just create a playlist so their audience automatically kind of listens to it. Or I don't know, like do you have any tips on that? Any insights? What do you think?
So you want to be a playlister?
Yeah, like I have a couple playlists out, and it's like I focus on like Afro music, Afro pop, Afro beats, Afro, like starting to go into Afro electronic stuff. So that's kind of my genre, that's my taste and like the type of music I'm trying to push. So that's kind of like what I'm interested in doing. So I've done some like I've attached like these playlists to like different like kind of like experimental media campaigns or like vlogging campaigns and stuff. But I don't know, like I just kind of don't know. It seems so hard like to grow an audience for like specifically playlists. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, to start, can you put your playlist in the chat?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then we were not going to listen to it right now, but if people want to go, click on it and listen to it, that's a good start.
That'd be awesome.
I guess like in my first opinion, I mean, I don't really know anything about that, but I mean, I feel like it's kind of just like anything else you're trying to promote. Like, of course, like do you put it up on your social media? Yeah. And put it up on your story, like your Instagram stories and,
not so much on the story, but it's like it's been in my bio, and like I create these like 60-second vlogs for Instagram, and I usually like use a song that's from the playlist, and like tell people like that the song is that's from the playlist, link in bio type of thing. But I don't like, I know there's just so many ways to like try to get exposure, just like anything else, but I don't know if like maybe I'm looking for insight in terms of like in your experiences approaching playlist makers, like is there a certain trend or tendency in these successful playlist makers that you've been noticing? Like, is it about the relationships? Like is it like, I don't know, like from personality to like strategy, like are there any tendencies you've noticed? I feel like that's a better question.
Yeah, so I can speak to that a little bit. What I'll say is some of my playlists, like it's very much trend based. So for an example, I just have a playlist that's called the Creed Movie 2 playlist. It's obviously not the official Creed movie playlist, but obviously that movie's coming out. It's huge popular right now. So obviously people are going on to Spotify and typing in Creed movie, right? So that's a huge keyword. So you can actually just change your playlist name to popular trending things that are happening right now to drive traffic there. That same playlist, it has 100,000 followers, and they honestly, every time I look, every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they're changing their playlist title to cater to what's popular. I've seen them change the playlist name to Creed Movie 2 and then cater the songs to that. I've seen them change the playlist name to Tacky Tacky because that new song just came out, Selena Gomez, whatever, is huge, very popular. So I think that's a really cool way, is to cater your keywords to what people are searching, even workouts. Typing, if you have a workout playlist, right? Figuring out what words people are searching the most for playlists. Like I've seen a playlist called like Sweat Fest, and like people are typing in sweat, right, for like playlist names and stuff like that. So that's a really good one.
Right.
The other way too is what I see playlisters do a lot is they'll create a separate playlist profile on Instagram, and you can put it in your bio. So your Instagram right now is like yourdaughter.ca. So in that bio where you've already got a bunch of followers, you can put I curate this playlist and tag it, and then have a separate account where you're following artists and people actively and posting on that every time you add a new song, posting a little bleep or like the artwork of the cover or whatever, and then using that to drive traffic. And then you can also have in the description of that Instagram account like the email that people can contact you to reach out to submit their music to your playlist. I would also have like some sort of agreement with the artist where like, hey, I'll post your song on my playlist for free if you post it on your Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and then you're sharing it with their fans, which is a great way as well to get their fans involved because obviously they already like that genre of music, right?
Nice. I like that one. Cool.
Yeah, so those are just a couple tips that I have. I find it really difficult to build playlists. It's really hard. You got to be really sort of strategic, but that's something that I've noticed a lot of playlists are doing is they're actually, like I said, creating creating the titles to cater to different things that are happening, and then they're creating individual Instagrams, Twitters for their playlist, because people are searching for that on Instagram. Like even if you title your Instagram name like your daughter playlist, because then when people are searching playlist as a keyword, you'll start to come up at the top of the results.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, I thought that was cool too. Cool. Okay. I don't think we had anyone else that wanted. Aja, are you still here? Did you still want to come on? Or no, never mind. You didn't put your hand up. Cool. Okay. So, Hiran, right? Hiran?
Yep.
Is that all your questions, or do you have anything else to ask?
Yeah, no, that's it. That's cool. I think I got what I needed.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Just mute your thing, and then I think we have one more question.
Okay.
Kojo. Maybe we can make this our last question because we've only got 9 minutes left. We are ending this no later than 3 on the dot. Can you guys talk a little more about pros and cons to using distributing services like Flying Colors aside from the royalty splits? Are there any other cons? Oh, I just need to say one thing. Flying Colors, along with other playlist promoters, sometimes they just take a flat fee and you don't actually have to sign to them. Do you do that, Lynn?
I don't do any distribution. I just do artists that I work with directly.
Right.
I had a couple deals where I did like a discount on my service in exchange for like a royalty split.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really cool way.
Mm-hmm.
But I would, just like what you said, I would try and see if these companies will do like a flat fee with you instead. But at the same time, the advantages of giving them a percentage is they're more invested, right? So like if you give them 20% of your song, the more streams that they get on that song, the more money they're going to make and the more money you're going to make. So there's a sort of an advantage to that. So I think that's really cool. And try also to go with someone like Flying Colors who doesn't have like thousands of artists. Like Empire right now, everyone has a distribution deal with Empire. So if you go with Empire, they're not really going to get your song on playlists unless you're like got 1 million streams or whatever, right? So you're kind of just getting shelved. So someone like Flying Colors is a really great sort of more, not independent, but like a smaller distributor that will actually give you the attention you're probably looking for.
Mm-hmm. And like I've always said, like with recommending companies, like I always have a really hard time recommending companies because they may not work for you, like all artists sound different or have their different brands, and all industry tastemakers have their different tastes. And so what a company that might work for me might not work for you. So like, you know what I mean? Do your best to find companies and people in the industry that are already working with people that sound like your sound or are interested in you, that sort of thing. Because I never want to recommend a company that isn't going to work for you.
Definitely agree with that. Definitely look at their roster, because like exactly what Jamie said, if a distribution company has all like rock and country artists as their distribution and you're a hip hop artist, like that doesn't make any sense, right? So
yeah,
definitely find like your niche for sure.
Yeah, unless they are a company that does all genres. What genres do you focus on? I know you do obviously hip hop because you've been working on a Tory Lanez tour.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like pop is actually my main genre that I'm the
Mm-hmm.
best at. Like I have the most relationships in the pop world. But
Mm-hmm.
then obviously once I did the Tory Lanez thing, that all kind of happened because I worked with an artist named Zolo who had Tory Lanez featured on his record. And then I actually just broke 1 million streams on their song, the Zolo featuring Tory Lanez track. And then from that, obviously, because that was a hip hop dance record, all the hip hop community kind of flooded to me because they all want to obviously break 1 million streams. So that's kind of how I broke the hip hop world sort of. I've also at the beginning of my career, I had openings for Mac Miller. I opened for his tour twice when he came to Toronto. I also had one of my artists open for Machine Gun Kelly. So a lot of that hip hop community kind of came with me. So I feel like that's why. But yeah, my main genres are probably pop, hip hop, R&B, and rock. Actually, indie rock I'm really good at too. I've broken some of the really big. I've gotten one of my clients, Rebel, on Rock This playlist, which is an official list and has 1 million followers.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done really good in the rock world.
Right. Okay. I wanted to address this question in this chat box.
Definitely.
Where did it go? Oh, okay. So Teo, the question is like, so a company like Flying Colors, is it a different type of distributor than District and TuneCore? And the answer is yes. So basically what Flying Colors is similar to what Lynn does. And there's like hundreds of these companies around, maybe even thousands of these companies around the world, but they're artist and record label services companies. So and distribution companies. Like usually there's a mix between them. So when you do something like TuneCore or DistroKid, they're a digital distribution platform. So it's basically like just an app that's sending out your songs for you, and they help collect all your money for you and those sorts of things. But then you have the record label services companies that act as distributors, and they do the same thing, but usually they'll also maybe go through TuneCore or they'll go through some sort of digital distributor, but they're doing all the work for you, and usually taking a chunk or sometimes a flat fee, similar to what a record label would do, but they're record label services. Did I explain that okay?
Yeah, that made sense to me. Yeah, because they're not like a, they're not like a Fantana North where it's just the distribution company. They actually do, like you said, artist and label services, plus they do distribution. So it's kind of like, to me, like a little bit of a bonus, because you're not just getting distribution, you're getting other options with them as well. Like they do like publishing, they do playlisting, they do a whole bunch of stuff. So. And then I think someone accidentally put another question in the chat and not the Q&A, but it was how do you manage being an artist and the business side too?
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. You got to grind until someone's willing to manage you too. I'm assuming that's an artist that asked that question.
Yeah, like really working on your time management, like doing time blocks. So being like, for an hour, I'm going to do only music business. And then for the next 3 hours, I'm going to be in the music studio. So time blocking your segments is really important, because I find people try and do both at the same time. And like, it's not effective. And
yeah, it hurts your brain.
Yeah, it hurts your brain. And multitasking never works. Like it never ever works. Like you'll always mess up something when you're doing two things at once. So it's just better to like lane focus of like writing up like a business schedule of what you're trying to accomplish, and then like an artist schedule of what you're trying to accomplish. Because artist is like, what your focus is production, music, writing. But with business, there's so many facets. So I think like really figuring out what your business goals are, and then there's time blocking certain times, like an hour or 2 hours a day, like tackling those business things for yourself.
Right. And because they're so different, because the artist is primarily just creating art and creating their live show and those sorts of things, and then business is a totally different ballgame, I would try and separate them as much as you can, whether that's like separating them at different times of the day or separating them for different seasons. Like maybe you take a whole season and you're just you're artist mode, and then you take a whole season and you're manager mode. That could work. I don't know.
I agree.
I also have a discussion with Steph Reed in the Smartest You forum, on the Green Room forum, about managing all these different things and where to delegate your time, and doing like a task audit and actually writing down every single thing that you do every day, and scaling them on a scale from 1 to 5 of how energized they make you and how much you love them versus how much you don't, and trying to get rid of the ones on the lower end of the scale as soon as possible, or delegating them. So if you guys want to get involved in that conversation or read what I had to say to him, I think that has made a little bit of a difference in his life. So go check that out in the forum. It's under, I forget what it's under. Just go look in the forum. I hope that helps though. I think we had one more question about something Christian. Do you know any streaming companies for Christian? No, I don't. Soul and gospel music. Unfortunately, I do not. Do you?
What was that? Sorry?
Do you know any streaming promotion companies for Christian soul and gospel music?
That's a good one. I will think
I don't even know if they exist. I'm sure they do.
I think they do. I think there's a couple companies, but same thing. They're very small and like niche. Definitely small niche, but yeah, I'm trying to think in my mind if I know anybody specifically, not off the top of my head. But I will think about that. And if I come up with an answer, I'll hit up Jamie with it. Same thing. If you connect with me on Instagram, I'll look in my network pool and see if I have anybody for that and maybe throw it your way.
Alrighty. Okay, well, we are done for today. Thank you so much, Lynn, for providing your time and your knowledge. Thank you to everybody for being here. Please join us in the Green Room Forum to continue these conversations. We only started this a couple months ago, so the forum is slowly building up with more chatter, but get in there, write more questions. Let's talk more. We can talk 24/7, 24 hours a day to each other. And we'll get this video up in a couple days as well by Tuesday or Wednesday, and you can rewatch it and take more notes. And I'll post more discussions about what we talked about here. Get in touch with Lynn if you guys want to know more about what she does at Icon Island, which she posted her Instagram in there. And follow your fellow members.
Yes, thanks so much for having me, Jamie. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot out of it. And same thing, I will send you, Jamie, those links in like an email so you can share. I know some of the people asked for like a little, maybe like a downloadable form or something. So I'll send those your way.
Okay.
And I hope everyone has an amazing Friday and a great weekend. And thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.